Let me begin by putting your imagination to test. Imagine yourself running on a conveyor belt in a factory. Quite weird? Well, what if I told you that this is vaguely how we live our life? We're constantly bombarded with study materials, schedules, and deadlines to produce predetermined results. These results, like manufactured products, are warranted to be identical in weight, shape, size, and content. At school, our books are designed to feed average intelligence, while at workplaces, we are trained to be machines, both devoid of ingenuity and individuality. But ever wondered why we, as individuals, choose to be part of a system that is structured to birth brains that make us common? What stops us from initiating thought? What prevents us from carving our own path? So here I come with 4 perspectives that might help you escape the conveyor belt. Number 1, see beyond what meets the eye. We're habitual to seeing the world through the eyes of a stereotypist. Let me give you an example. Imagine a brave ruler succeeding to the throne. I bet that most of us thought of a king. So did the internet. This bias is well reflected in the games we play, like that of chess, where the queen is all-powerful. She can sway left, right, up, and down. But yet, the game ends only when the king dies. I'm sure we were all taught that a lion rules the jungle. Yet, how many of us taught our children that a lioness rules the jungle? The irony over here is that the lion pride has been identified to be a matriarchal society by men. Let me give you another example. Let's delve into a broader, deeper concept, body positivity. What is the first image that flashes as I speak of body positivity? Did anybody visualize a man who's shorter than the average, or one with a pot-belly tummy? It's shockingly interesting as to how our brain conveniently restricts a theory that was birthed to be inclusive of all. From the food we eat to the clothes we wear, our choices follow the majority. Speaking of majority, allow me to break the myth that crowns majority opinion. Majority, widely accepted to be correct, need not necessarily reflect the truth or the right side, but it certainly does represent the most influenced side. So to make your version of the truth count, you will have to either emerge as an influencer to lead the majority, or at least be mindful of the theory you are buying into. Until a few months ago, I had no opinion on the clothes I wore, be it synthetics or natural fibers. The increase in carbon footprint was just too far to be connected to my everyday life. But price tags weren't. It took a while for me to realize that price tags do not reflect the risks in terms of the plethora of health hazards, including that of breast cancer, that these synthetics come with. This realization compelled me to think, and my thought drove me to action. And so, Crop to Cloth, an initiative that seeks to promote sustainable, inclusive, and elegant clothing, is soon to be born. So I urge you to think. Permit yourself to curate thoughts that inspire you to act on them. Do not let the comfort of absorbing ready-made answers rule over your creativity and individuality. Having said this, thought alone is not sufficient to attain triumph. It has to be backed by appropriate actions. But actions are often thwarted by fear. So this necessitates the second perspective. Do not let the fear of failing at originality give way to the ease of commonality. If you choose to fit into peg holes only because you think it's going to be easier than living a dream, then please let me tell you that the ease of commonality is a double-edged sword. Because peg holes are designed to accommodate anybody, which means that you and your efforts become replaceable. As far as the risks that originality come with, let me ask you, is there anything we could possibly do with a zero probability of risk? Because even eating comes with the risk of choking. Unless, of course, you choose to live life so cautiously that we might just not live life at all. The fear of failure is the mother of all failures. But we are all bound to fail, for it's as certain as birth and death. Yet, our years have been bombarded with success tales, like that of, say, Dr. V. Ramakrishnan, Hershey's Chocolate, Biocon, and the Oprah Winfrey Show. But when Dr. V. Ramakrishnan was applauded for earning a Nobel Prize in chemistry, were you aware that he failed to clear the entrance for IITs? When you indulged in the flavors of Hershey's chocolate, did its taste ever remind you that Milton Hershey had failed with his first two candy companies? When you subscribed to the shares of Biocon, were you aware that many refused to work under India's farmer queen only because she was a woman? Did the happiness that came with the Oprah Winfrey Show ever remind you that she was raped at 9 and refused a job for not being the right fit? If your answer to any one of these questions is in the negative, it is time we rethink our idea of success. When the examination result reads fail, tragedy strikes. But ever wondered how these results are calculated? The examination ends with a common list of ranks and scores. But does our preparation begin from the same point? Do we all have a common start? While one's toughest phase begins with these written tests, another's might begin with helping her bedridden mother fight cancer. Yet another's might begin with rearing buffaloes and distributing milk. While one manages to complete a page or two in a few hours, another strives, but can complete it only after a few days. So who is to blame here, the child or the education system, for cramming us all into one standardized method of learning, despite being aware of the differences in each one of our cerebral digestive capabilities? Or you and me, for perceiving a scorecard as the result of our life instead of a mere test? We conveniently compare ranks and scorecards, but ignorantly fail to contrast journeys. Why is it taking ages for us to acknowledge the fact that when the result reads fail, it is the attempt that failed and not the individual, unless, of course, you choose to make your entire life about an attempt? Failure is a unique double-edged key. It can either be equipped to enter a door that will open you up to a path that is filled with opportunities and possibilities, or trap you in the hall of defeat. So, be very cautious of the door you choose to open with your key of failure. Next, let's go to 2 factors that hinder growth. The first being opinions. We tend to perceive opinions as certifications, but the truth remains that opinions neither certify our efforts nor evidence our struggles. When no 2 persons can have exact same lives, not even siblings who are born and brought up under the same roof, how do we ignorantly let passerbys to paint a real image of our journey when they've barely been a part of a few scenes in our life? So, do not perceive the image formed in the eye of another as your mirror image. The second factor that hinders growth is self-victimization. When it is well established that inequalities are inherent, be it in terms of the wealth one inherits or capabilities received at birth, to question its fairness is less effective than equipping what one has to the best of his abilities. It's simple. When you focus on what you have, you make more. But when you focus on what you don't have, you remain with less. Lastly, let's grow together. Help where in need, and ask for help when you can and need. All of us, including those who think that their self-esteem will be staked if they took help, did not push out of our mother's womb on our own, neither are we going to bury ourselves on our own. So when the law of nature demands that we live as dependents, why stereotype seeking help as the trait of a defeatist? Let me leave this stage with a reminder. In the end, both triumph and difficulties will not matter as much as the person you have grown into. Acts of generosity or greed, kindness or ruthlessness, truth or dishonesty will take the center stage and speak about you. It will speak louder than the degrees you have earned or the wealth you have accumulated. So, why wait for heaven to be good persons when we stand a chance to represent heaven right here on earth? Thank you.